Welcome to the OVW Podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. I am Jackman, Ochs.
And I am Brian Hines.
Today we are getting into all the action from OVW pay-per-view March Mayhem, which broadcast live originally from historic Davis Arena on March 16th, 2024. We'll jump into that right after this.
Oh, hey, folks, this is Tyni Brian, who forgot how early in the script this ad fell tonight.
A little awkwardly placed.
Little. Who wrote this script? I'm going to yell at him.
His name is Brian, but it's not me.
Oh, Kinnison.
Sure.
So, yeah, Bluegrass Homefront. What can I say about Bluegrass Homefront that I haven't said a dozen times already?
Talk about the moon.
I mean, yes, there is astronomy. We spend a whole day at Morehead State University's astrophysics laboratory, and it was during COVID, so they weren't actually doing the really awesome presentations that they do now in their huge theater. But you should definitely go do that, and also go to Bluegrass Homefront and check out the podcast, bluegrasshomefront.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Let's get on with it.
All right, we're going to kind of move quickly here through the pre-show.
Mostly because it's a 4-hour pay-per-view.
Yeah,
it's 3 hours and 45 minutes.
A long pay-per-view. Definitely a lot of bang for your buck on the pay-per-view this go-around. Always a lot of bang for your buck on the OVW pay-per-views.
Or any week, really, in general.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
Most of the time, it's they hit more than they miss. That's for sure.
Amen to that.
AJ Vest and Ragnar the Ruthless. First match there, AJ Vest takes the victory. Second match, Big Beef and Damone Salavino. Big Beef takes the victory. Third match, Angelica Risk versus Riley Matthews. Angelica Risk take the victory.
I was a little surprised on that one.
I was too, actually.
Yeah.
I was too. And then, of course, the main event of the pre-show, bout 4 of the pre-show here, is Orion and Star Rider for the number 1 contender to the Rush Division Championship.
Yes, 2 top contenders. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. It was a great show. Both of them are fantastic competitors in great shape. But Star Rider came out on top.
So
he is now the
night.
number 1 contender for the Ohio Valley Wrestling Rush title.
It is crazy that there was 4 matches in the pre-show. That
they
seems
stacked it,
excessive.
man.
There was
They
a
stacked
lot of
it.
pre-show. There was a lot of show. There was a lot of post-show.
There's
There was just a lot.
Some would say the post-show's still going on. It's the friends you made along the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we made a friend. Christian, if you're listening.
We did. Who is
Thanks for
stationed at Fort Knox.
Yeah, thank you for your service, and thanks for being a great person to sit next to. I think it was his first show, he said.
It was his first show at Davis Arena, and he had seen wrestlers on Netflix and realized that he was stationed so close and decided to make Saturday night his first foray into Ohio Valley Wrestling. And I could tell by talking to him that he was very enthusiastic, and he did not leave disappointed.
No, he had a blast, man.
What a great night to first come to OVW.
Seriously.
Right? Seriously.
All right. First match of the main show here.
That would be ZDP versus my illegitimate son, Truth Magnum.
ZDP is hot.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
It's hard to boo an outrunner. And there was a little bit of a point where I don't know if he got booed, but he wasn't necessarily everyone's favorite guy.
In terms of popularity, that was strangely a very close call.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my own personal preferences about ZDP, and that's been discussed at great length on this podcast, as well as the Outrunners. I mean, I love the spirit, the vibe, the look, and it was just a great matchup. But in terms of popularity, I had a real hard time because I was torn between the two.
Yeah. I really, really, really think that ZDP's got something going on, and everyone in Davis Arena likes him. Everyone in Davis Arena loves him. I
absolutely love seeing the little boy with the ZDP sign, and just watch his eyes light up when he comes to the ring.
He's really got something going on, and that's one of the things too about the crowd at Davis Arena is like they'll get behind anybody that they realize is good.
That's got the goods.
Yeah.
IRS,
Yeah.
as weird as a gimmick that would be, even today, like an accountant gimmick would get over if you've got the goods.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Davis Arena fans are very, very smart and very discerning. And ZDP does have the goods. Unfortunately, Truth Magnum taps him out.
All the way out.
He was out.
All the way out. I guess not taps him out. He puts him to sleep. wins by submission. The post match here though is what's important, I think. Is them meeting in the middle of the ring, shaking hands.
Oh yeah.
Very strange for ZDP.
Yeah.
Yes, very strange for ZDP.
I think that we really did see a taking off point for ZDP on this pay-per-view. I thought it was a great match to open the show, a really weird pairing, really great pairing, though, at the end of the day. And
it was like just the two sides of Brian Hines met in the middle of the ring, really.
It was just quite the show for ZDP, quite the showing for ZDP.
Yes, it was.
He's up to big things. He's going to be up to really big things. Second match of the night, Will Austin and Hoda Peso for the Rush Division Championship.
That is as fine a match as you can ask for in terms of this particular title, or really just any given night in general.
It's one of those matchups that these two guys just they seem to have really good chemistry with each other. And Will Austin on this show talked about how much he liked the X Division in TNA, and I think that even down to their mat wrestling, their mat exchange here. That went on for quite a while. It really showed how much he kind of enjoyed that era of TNA, because he can high fly and then they get on the mat for 45 seconds and exchange holds. I just thought, honestly, here for second match of the night, I said, man, that might have been it. Might have been the best match of all night. But as we get into the card here, it is stacked.
Yeah, it was the best match up to that point. But then there were other matches, and it's like every match was better than the last, and I can't say that about a lot of pay-per-views, a lot of programs.
Yeah, this was perfectly. Not only was every match great, but it was paced very well. This pay-per-view was.
Yes,
paced extremely well. Second, I guess we'll mention Hoda Peso after tons and tons of back and forth here between Will Austin. Hoda Peso manages to retain the Rush Division Championship, and he will, I guess, have Star Rider waiting for him down the road.
As much as we've said push Will Austin, Will Austin push Will Austin, but Hoda Peso push back.
Yeah, Will Austin
pushed harder.
He looked great, man. He looked really great. I do think that it would have been. I think it would have been the wrong time to take the belt off of Hoda this early, but I think that Will was a perfect, foil to Hoda Peso here during this entire.
He was the perfect opponent for this.
Sold his ass off the whole time. He was great.
Oh yeah, it was a great match.
Bout number 3 here, All American Sweethearts versus the Bad Girls Club. This time in the form of Hema and Dream Girl Ellie, of course. Tiffany and Layla are in
the Fatal 4-Way match.
Yeah, the Fatal 4-Way. So they were tied up later in the night. So representing the Bad Girls Club here, the other two members, Hema and Dream Girl Ellie. Match, kind of that All American Sweethearts formula. You compared them to the Rock and Roll Express on our later podcast, which or our last podcast.
Yes.
Which I agree with totally. Was thinking the exact same thing. And
it's one of the things I love about you.
And this kind of follows that Rock and Roll Express formula. When there's not only so you have your workhorse, babyface doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and then you get the hottest tag in the world whenever and that was the Rock and Roll Express formula. Basically.
Yeah.
I think that it's you can't stop the All American Sweethearts.
Nah, here we were at the middle of last week, and some of us in the OVW podcast camp were sure that they were done, and we were never going to see the America's Sweethearts again. I'm not going to mention any names, but it rhymes with Ictor V. Anderson A. But
no, it doesn't. I guess it would, sort of.
It's an internal rhyme.
The Latin of the pigs.
I see.
But
he did own up that today.
He
did.
He did own up
Overdrive,
to it,
which is in today's feed.
Yeah, that's good for him to do. But I'm glad he was wrong, and he said the same thing. He's glad he was wrong because they're a great young team. They work well together. They've got the moves. They've definitely got the charisma. And I'm not going to say when or if. I'm going to say at some point when there is a women's tag team division, they are just as strong a team as anybody else.
It's got to be them. It really does.
Yeah, we were talking about this off mic, and once there is a tag team title that is unveiled, I feel like these two ladies have earned it.
A lot of back and forth here between Ellie and Hima. Couldn't quite get on the same page. Seems like all across the Bad Girls Club we're having issues.
Yeah.
Not only in this tag match, but of course later on in the main event picture as well. Hima has a botched interference, accidentally kicks Ellie in the head, allowing the American Sweethearts to take the victory over the Bad Girls Club here.
Yeah, if you're going to interfere, try not to botch it.
Yeah. 6-person intergender tag match up next here. Carson Drake, Ari Alexander, and Shalance Royale versus Ryan Von Rocket and the Rockettes.
Yes.
Cristal and KT.
This was interesting, and I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but it ultimately ended up going exactly the way I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, kind of a breather here in the middle of the matches between and up next, it's kind of the perfect place for this match here. Up next, you have a bunch of stipulation matches for the rest of the night, basically. So that's really when the pay-per-view starts to heat up. And this Carson Drake, Ryan Von Rocket is so hot and cold and touch and go. Even in the arena that night, it was kind of the people that reacted the most to it were not the regular people. We're not like regulars that you see at Davis Arena every week.
Like Gracie and her dad, or Keith, or the Colonel.
Yeah, and it's just weird. I go back and forth. I like intergender matches. There's a lot of intergender matches that like I can point to that I find entertaining. There's just something very strange, I guess, when you have like a Carson Drake like openly like shoving, and like openly, he's not exchanging holds here.
No.
He's not having an exhibition. He's not having a friendly match. Like it's outwardly aggressive, and it's just like,
yeah, he's definitely in it to win it.
yeah, it's just I have a lot of feelings about it, and I don't really quite know how to put them into words right now. I guess we'll end it by saying that Carson Drake, Ari, and Shalance Royale take the victory here over Ryan Von Rocket.
Because Carson Drake pinned Crystal.
Yeah.
Which-
By missionary, basically.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it's notable the way he pinned her.
Yeah, it is, and I could have done without you saying that, but you're not wrong.
It kind of. I think the way that you said it and the way that you put it is almost.
As wrong as watching it itself?
Well, it's necessary to kind of indicate some of the overarching things that maybe we have a problem with this angle in general with. It is just kind of weird and makes you feel weird sometimes.
Yeah.
Makes you feel a little like you need some hand sanitizer.
Well, Carson Drake in general during this match made me kind of feel like that because, I mean, just the slimiest of the slimy, man. I mean, going back and forth with Ryan Von Rocket 4 weeks in a row, clocking him with a guitar, clocking Crystal with a guitar, shoving her completely in the next week. It's just, wow.
I did think that Shalance's character work here was great, though. Whenever her exchanges with Ryan Von Rocket, just being absolutely disgused with like his oil.
Yeah,
and
when she
glitter.
pushed him and then was like, "Ew, what is on my hand?"
Yeah, like I do think that there are good things because these are good performers.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But as a
there were
match,
definitely good things.
It's like I'm a little conflicted on it.
I think Carson Drake definitely feels like he is the intergender women or intergender champion of the world.
Did we mention on this show that there were people that seemed to be legitimately trying to fight Carson Drake outside?
No, I don't think that's actually came up. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the case on Thursday.
we were there. That was this wasn't this
Yeah,
episode.
so we mentioned,
but this was,
I feel like we should mention that.
yeah, there's being over, and then there's people actually wanting to fight you.
Yeah, they're not being able to go outside because there are people waiting to give you a beatdown is next level heat that I have not experienced secondhand in person yet. So, thanks, I guess. Hats off to you.
Yeah, I don't. That was kind of a strange thing to see. You start serving beer at some of these wrestling events, the line between fiction and reality becomes way more blurry than people's vision, I guess. Coal miner's glove on a pole match for the media championship. Have you ever seen a coal miner's glove on a pole match in real life?
I haven't seen a coal miner's glove match, but I have seen a match where somebody had to climb to the top and get the pole, but that was
Paddle on a pole is usually what I've seen.
I've seen glove, and that goes back to the Baron von Raschke days in NWA, and that may have been around the Great American Bash, Cincinnati, Ohio, summer of 1986 era. But I can't remember whether it was in person. I'm sure it wasn't in person at the Great American Bash, but I can go back and look up the card for that day because there was a lot going on.
I had never seen. I like big stipulation matches. I'm easily entertained. There are no two finer people to put on a big stipulation match on pay-per-view than Cal Hero and Tony Evans here, and of course a glove match with all the implications of. The loaded glove, Jay De Niro's gloves going back and forth throughout this entire angle here.
And a coal miner's glove was a nice regional touch for some nice local heat.
Very just old school wrestling too.
Because I'm sure there were a lot of people in the crowd that were born coal miners' daughters, and probably sons.
Sure.
Everybody knows one.
I just think it was cool for these two to have this match, given that Jay De Niro has the loaded glove and Cal Hero has kind of hinted that there was a loaded glove in his fanny pack. But the last time I was talking to Jay De Niro, we were talking about wrestling toys and how I have my big ring over here from the 80s, and he and his siblings used to make their own ring and have their own matches. But that is not the original ring that I had from the 1980s. That one was thrown away because one of the poles broke off. So our solution to that was to make every match a pole match, and we had like PVC pipe that fit over that. So you had to like put the ropes back on over this PVC pipe and then put the glove on the top. So every match at my house was a glove match from that point on.
So as the booker of many a glove match, what did you think? What did you think of this one? What did you think of the ending here? I thought
this was as solid
yeah.
a pole match as I have ever put on in my local toy-based wrestling federation shenanigans. But
and you are an experienced toy-based promotion booker.
Yeah. We won't talk about that right now. But yeah, I know some people in the toy industry and we have some matches, but we'll get to that some other time.
I kind of love the back and forth. Tony getting the glove, accidentally hitting Jay De Niro. Cal Hero, retrieving the glove from Tony, putting it in the his knee guard here, going in for the fanny pack knee, and knocking out Tony Evans 1-2-3 there. Really great match. I was a little afraid if either one of those boys were going to be able to get up that pole, though.
Looking at it from the ground floor,
yeah.
I mean, it looked like the only person who was going to be even remotely close to being able to get that would be Jay De Niro, and even that would be a stretch for him because that pole was – the top of that was easy, 7 feet, 8 feet above the top rope? I mean, it was almost grazing the ceiling of Davis Arena.
And it was unclimbable until one of them just went right up it like nothing.
Yeah, like a lumberjack.
Yeah, Tony Evans, man, he climbed up that thing like it was Magic City.
Speaking of Magic City, his cat turned 5 years old today, so happy birthday, Merlin.
Who's Magic City?
Merlin is the name of a magician, and that is also the name of Superior Tony Evans' cat.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I did not know
It
that.
just popped up on Facebook
I
today.
did not know that.
If you were on social media, you would have known, but you're
I'm
not. And
on
you're
social media.
You have a lot more peace of mind and probably free time as a result.
I feel like Tony Evans is an interesting dude.
I've
feel like Tony
talked to him
Evans
a little bit,
yeah.
and I'm sure he's a way more interesting guy than the 20 or so minutes here or there I've had to talk with him.
Yeah, I feel like because when he was by here, it was Tony Evans that you see on TV the whole time.
Yeah.
But you can tell, man. There's a lot of gears running in that guy's head.
If you catch him after a show and he's kind of just not all hyped up and in total hush mode, he is a different guy, a different cat, so to speak.
Still pretty intense.
Oh yeah, very intense. But at some point, I would like to challenge him to a belching contest because he had a couple beers after the last pay-per-view and really wanted to like belt one out and impress people, and it just didn't work. And I think that we need to formally make this a thing that happens at some point.
Yeah,
maybe part of our April Fool's Day shenanigans.
I'm gonna be sick that day.
All right, well then more for me.
Not only will I not be attending, but I will be physically sick that you guys are doing it.
Fantastic. I'll get you a bucket.
Up next, we have the conclusion of this best out of 7 series between Shane Mercer and Big Zo. This time a 2 of 3 falls match.
Yep. And as Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I was surprised I figured that there would have been another match or 2 leading up to this, but I'm glad that they did it this way because this is a definitive match.
Yeah.
You know, once and for all between the two. This is how it is decided, and it was a formidable match. At first, when they said that they were going to do a best of 7 series, it was like, okay, and you work through the first 3 or so, and I mean the first couple were fantastic, and then after a while you're like, wow, we got like maybe as many as 5 more of these.
Yeah.
But we get to the pay-per-view, and it's like, this is it. This is intense. It's game time. Let's do this. And I was not disappointed by Big Zo or Shane Mercer. They both put on a hell of a show.
No, and I think the pairing of these two guys, just like 2 guys that are maybe a little more athletic than they have any business being.
Right.
Shane Mercer, kind of newer to the promotion. Big Zo, been around forever. Big Zo was at the first OVW show I saw 7 years ago. So, kind of a stalwart of OVW, and really, really, really went the extra mile in making Shane Mercer look like $1 bajillion here.
Yeah, well, they both did.
I thought the first 2 falls came pretty quickly, like shockingly so. But
yeah,
I thought
this wasn't a very long match for a 2 out of 3 falls.
But I thought that the last fall, I thought that they got everything that they possibly could out of it. I thought that they milked it for everything it was worth. And just, I remember turning to our friend and saying, watch this guy. And
Angel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was just like in awe. How does this match end? How does the final fall come here?
Well, let's scroll through a little bit.
Because I want to see it one more time.
I do too. Is this it? Yeah, that was it. All right, let me go back just a little bit.
We see Big Zo here. He's taking Shane Mercer into the corner, beating him over the rope, pulling him to the top rope. Looks like he's going for a big fall here. But Shane Mercer fights back, does crazy enziguri.
Yeah, that was like a second story.
And
they just keep going back and
Yeah.
forth. They both fought until the end. They both fought until they couldn't.
It was really quite the match. After the end of the match here, they get a big hug in the middle of the ring, really just cementing Shane Mercer as something to watch, something to pay attention to.
Yeah, and it was good that they settled it. They got the 2 out of 3 Mercer hits with the moonsault and battery.
How Big Zo's got to be 350.
About 350.
right?
Yeah.
He
I'm
just did
thinking
a
so.
backflip. with
Yeah,
him.
just picked him up and did a backflip off the top rope and
Oh, my
landed on his
goodness.
opponent and then got the 1-2-3.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Shane Mercer, man. Shane Mercer.
Freakish strength.
I would love to see him get a manager.
Yeah.
Oh?
Yeah, not even like a heel manager, not even somebody to cheat for him, just like somebody to talk real
Just
good.
the voice.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be badass.
So, Jackman, let me ask you something. I remember that when all this, you'll have to forgive us, folks. We're all kind of feeling ill if
Yeah,
you're hearing
it's-
some coughing this evening. I've had
My
one.
apologies.
I did it too, so don't feel bad. But back to my question. When Zoe got his first win in this series, I remember you specifically saying, Shane hadn't had a loss so far, and this was sort of spoiling that momentum that maybe he had been building. Do you still feel that's true, or do you feel like that this outcome has made up for the fact that he took that early loss?
I had no idea at that point that we were going to best of 7, so I might not have had the same criticism knowing that. But I mean, this is how you. If he was going to lose to Big Zoe at that point, this is why. Is just like this great best of 7 series and a great final match. I wish they had one more.
Another best of 7?
No. More like just one more match.
Best of 9?
I'm not full yet. I want one more match, but I am very excited to see what Shane Mercer
So
does next.
if they were to do another match between Big Zoe and Shane Mercer, what kind of stipulation
Iron Man.
would Iron Man?
Yep,
Okay, meaning
30-minute Iron Man, most falls wins.
really?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'd steal the WrestleMania Iron Man finish and only have one fall right at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know why that would just.
I was going to go with steel cage, but that's just me. I'm a sucker for a steel cage match.
I don't want to see Shane Mercer in a steel cage.
I want to see everybody in a steel cage. To be
No,
honest.
I said I don't because he's gonna kill somebody in there.
I want to see somebody in OVW in a steel cage.
Yeah,
I've
it's
never
about time.
seen that.
That is
yet.
one thing that we haven't seen in OVW during our podcasting time together is a steel cage.
Well, we're running through all the stipulations here because up next we have a barroom brawl, so we got to get to steel cage eventually, right?
Yeah. For me, this was the match of the night.
If you only watch one match from this pay-per-view,
This is
make
it.
sure it's this one.
Yeah. And to be in attendance for this was something that I will never forget. I mean, the two teams, there's bad blood. There has been for a while. This is the culmination of what we've seen on the weekly shows from Davis Arena between Omar Amir and Luscious Lawrence, and on the other side of the ring, Mahabali Shira and Cash Flow. And the run up to this has been very entertaining, and the culmination of this in the ring is just outstanding work on everybody's part. It really is. I mean, from the people who set this up to the good folks at Country Boy who had Country Boy branded barrels and kegs in the ring in use during this match, and up to and including and all the way down to the other props like pitchers of beer.
Yeah, I got intimately involved with one of those pitchers of beer.
Yes, you did.
You notice early on the pitcher that Luscious Lawrence pitches at Cash Flow and misses. Who he does not miss is your producer, Tyni Bryan.
Yeah.
He got me full in the thigh, covered half my body. And I spent most of this match out at the edge of the crowd trying to dry myself off.
Yeah. It was a very entertaining, a very hard fought match back and forth between these two teams. Probably the most shocking part of it up to that point for me was I can't remember who it was, and we're watching through this at a faster rate than normal, trying to get to this one part. But somebody gets hit with a pool cue, and half of that pool cue sails out of the ring and all the way over the audience and almost in the concession stand. So we're talking, like 20 feet outside of the ring? And, I mean...
that's the one that somebody was sitting on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That explains
And
how that got there.
That
I didn't
explains
know.
how that got there. I was out on the crowd talking to you in front of Kyle at the Country Boy booth, and I saw it fly out of the ring on my right side, out of the corner of my eye. But luckily, nobody was hurt. And me being the souvenir hunter that I am, wait, here it is, right here. Or maybe not. We'll see. I wanted that because it was part of the match.
We got something a little better.
I tried to get it, and that didn't work. But that's where Mr. Joe helped us.
I love like big plunder matches. I've seen big plunder matches at other promotions. I don't think I've ever seen one as extensive or as brutal as this one in OVW. But there was no intentional blood here. Omar Mir does get busted open. To me, it looked like a laceration above his eye. I think we found out later it was a broken nose.
Yeah, he ended up with a broken nose after this match.
They have these pieces of glass or wine bottles that have been heated so that they'll break, and I think those were legit pieces of glass. These guys are hitting each other with legit pieces of glass. They're smacking the hell out of each other with pull cues. Luscious Lawrence gets a pull cue shoved up his derriere
in the keister.
Yeah, and
That is actually the cue we have. It's there behind you, gentlemen.
I was gonna say, do we have it here?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
There it is, right there on the set.
Did we disinfect this?
We have. It has been treated at a local medical facility.
And hopefully, when we see Omar, he had to legitimately go to a local medical facility.
Yes, he was not available at the end of the match, but
Right.
after the match, we were able to get this piece of memorabilia, and it was signed by Cashflow, Mahabali Shira, and Luscious Lawrence,
Yeah.
3 out of the 4 people, including the recipient.
And in fact, this is the cool cue that we talked about it, and we got that on. As of right now, as of time of recording, 12,000 views on the video on the short
Jeez.
of Cashflow doing amateur proctology on Luscious Lawrence. So thank you to everybody who watched that. It is a pretty hilarious video.
And thank you to everybody involved in the barroom brawl match for putting on such a
Magnificent show.
magnificent show,
Magnificent, guys.
complete with amateur proctology.
It
because it was a good time that was had by most.
This is, if not the best OVW match I've ever seen in my life, the second best, and just second best by a hair.
What would be the first?
September 11th, 2019, 4th Street Live, 6-man ladder match for a contract for, I think it was $10,000 or something like that. Killer match, killer environment. Seeing like that 4th Street Live when they have the ring set up downtown 4th Street Live is just like really great. I hope that they bring that back. I know that they're coming to the waterfront soon. I assume that that's going to be a lot of fun too. But yeah, I think sentimentally I like that match more, but man, match quality wise, this is really hard to beat. This is really hard to beat.
It really is. This match was exceptional, and this match was wonderful. I need to see more of this. It doesn't have to be Beaches and Cream. It doesn't have to be Golden Lions, but this level of creativity and this level of destructiveness, it's just you can't beat this. And I would like to know what's next because I want to know what's going to top this match.
I would change one thing, though. Would have had a clean finish. Would have let the Golden Lions win clean here. Unfortunately, there was no decision because the masked men make a reappearance and kind of basically incapacitate everyone.
Yeah, it was a weird kind of palate cleanser. I mean, we were all really looking for a clear winner for this match. Either side, one way or the other. I mean, I know who I was pulling for. I can't speak for anybody else.
I would have definitely put Golden Lions winning here.
Yeah. So we are both in agreement when it comes to what we would have liked to have happened, but the masked man had something else to say about it, and we still did not find out who they were after this match.
No. That question still remains in the air as of time of recording. Women's Division Championship Fatal 4-Way. This is, of course, that Fatal 4-Way that Al came out and signed, I guess, booked on Thursday night show.
Yeah.
We have Freya the Slayer, Hollywood Haley J, Tiffany Nieves, and current champion Layla Gray here in a Fatal 4-Way. Great excuse to get 4 of your top stars all together. One big blowout match here. I think that the kind of important takeaway here is that Layla not only retained, but pinned Tiffany.
She pinned
to
Tiffany.
do so.
Yeah. Thus, spurring the division. I'm guessing that is forthcoming in the Bad Girls Club. They've already kind of worked that into their exchanges going back and forth. And I'm the best. No, I'm the best. And I mean, you're going to have that when you have egos and talents like all these women possess. But pinning your own teammate in order to make yourself look good is just about as big a heel move as I can possibly come up with.
Yeah.
Although what I feel is
Layla's a great heel.
Yeah.
I think that's going to make Tiffany, if they choose to go this direction, that's going to make Tiffany a great babyface.
That's true. Which I don't really know if I want her to be a babyface because she is so good as a heel. I mean, that interview where she had us on the ropes, man.
I don't think she has to change much.
You don't think?
I really don't. I think that she possesses like something very genuine and earnest that I think she can tap into to become a babyface. Well, and I think that if that's the direction that they go on, I would love to see her kind of tap into that. That doesn't mean she has to be any less entertaining in the way that we have enjoyed her to be entertaining. In fact, she can turn it on even more so in some of these promo battles that she might end up having with Layla Gray or something like that. But I do think that she possesses like a weird like earnestness or earnesty, I guess, that I would love to see brought out kind of in a babyface run from her.
One thing that I felt got lost in the shuffle leading up to this was Freya had a really good promo early on in this. Did you catch that?
Yeah. On my rewatch, I was able to catch it. Kind of hard when you're in the arena to.
And if you're in the arena, any of the video packages, you may as well write them off.
Unless it's a Sophia Rose video package and everyone is dead silent for it.
Yes, that is a serious thing, and that is something else in its entirety. But as far as the video packages go, you really can't hear anything. So trying to watch people on screen and read their lips just really doesn't work. I mean, it's a good time to go get a slice of Wix. It's a good time to go to the restroom. It's a good time to go visit Kyle at the Country Boy booth. But as far as like sitting down and trying to use that and get part of the story, you might as well just wait until you get home as far as that goes. But Freya had an excellent promo, and she said that the ref was going to count 1, 2, 3, and she was going to be the 4-time champion. I thought that was a great line. And then telling the Bad Girls Club that they can send anybody after her, just don't send anybody that they want back, was outstanding.
Yeah,
so great job, man.
No,
great job, Freya.
Freya's really getting the microphone thing down.
Yeah.
I'm
glad to see that. Good for you.
Let's see. Tag team match. Layla retains. We mentioned this. Layla retains. She pins Tiffany. Division in the Bad Girls Club. That's where we're going.
Yes.
Tag team championship match. The Overmen, who are now Adam Revolver and Bo, versus Tusks and Chains. The Overmen walk in as the defending champions. They are stripped of the titles, so the titles become vacant and are now in. They're now just up for grabs.
Yeah, they're just kind of in limbo, and the reason they were stripped of the tag team titles because Joe Mack and Human Thumb Adam Revolver won those tag team titles. You can't just transfer one of them because your partner can't be there anymore. And
Al Snow comes out.
To clarify and declares them non-champions. But if they can beat Tusks and Chains, they will regain the tag team championship, which is a lot of incentive. for the Overmen.
I'm not surprised that they basically retained here.
I'm not either, and I'm not surprised that Al Snow did what he did because that was the right call.
For sure. I didn't know. Sometimes with the tag team, especially, sometimes things get a little murky with the Overmen. I mean, Shannon wrestled in the tag team for the Overmen a couple weeks ago, so it's like. But no, Al did make the right call. Added kind of another bit of drama here to this match. I would have liked at least like one babyface victory here tonight.
That would have been nice.
I guess Shane Mercer, but that's a best of 7, and Big Zoe's kind of a babyface too.
Well, we're not done with the night yet.
Well, I mean here though, I would have liked to seen it here.
Yeah,
in this fatal
we were definitely pulling
this
for
tag
Tuss
team
and
match.
Chains.
Yeah.
At least I was.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been. I think Tuss and Chains are so undeniable right now. It would have been. I think the crowd would have gotten really behind it.
Oh, they would have ate it up.
Yeah, and I think that it would have been kind of a nice nod to Tuss and Chains because they've worked their ass off. They've become a great team, and they're really, really great, easy to watch. They're goofy, they're funny, they beat the hell out of people at the same time. Like, they're a great team. I kind of would have liked to see them walk away with the victory here.
I kind of feel like they have a New Day kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And I really like that about them because that, God damn, man. It's just something about a grown man who can throw another grown man at a third grown man to inflict damage. I mean, this tag team has everything that I want, and just exceptional. And I would have loved it if they would have pulled out the win and become tag team champions at March Mayhem, but unfortunately that didn't happen, and that didn't happen because outside interference from Joe Mack.
Yep, Joe Mack came back.
Still no sack.
Oh my God, man! I'm drinking hot tea that almost came out through my nose like a neti pot. I almost pulled a Navage. Thanks.
I do want to. We joke about Adam Revolver a lot. I do think that he did a great job of doing the heavy lifting on his side of the team.
He did. He did a great job on Saturday.
He's a very, 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 very capable wrestler. He's very, very good.
And Bo is a very formidable and menacing individual, and he's a great fit.
And they
for
kept
the
him looking that way too.
They kept him looking that way. With TW3 and the torture rack just lying there lifeless, nearly passed out. That is a very formidable man that he's facing in there. But that wasn't the way this match ended, and Joe Mack came in, which surprised.
Yeah, but to get back to Joe Mack,
nearly everybody.
Yeah,
and there was one person in the crowd that I know for a fact knew he was going to be there, and that was Gracie's dad.
Right. They seem to be pretty close.
They are very close.
They seem to be pretty close. And I think it might have come from the Joe Mack's a baby thing, but I think that there is a genuine connection there.
You're right on both counts. I'm sure that's where it started, but there is a genuine connection. And I was talking to him during this match, and I felt like he was concerned. He was waiting on Joe Mack to show up so he could say goodbye. And right after Joe Mack left the building, I followed him outside because I kind of felt like, he had to go. He really had to go. So I got to see the exchange between Gracie's dad and Joe Mack, and it was very, very heartfelt when somebody you're really fond of and you have to say goodbye because they absolutely have to leave. Like, he just caught a lift to the arena, came in, did his thing. The lift was waiting on him, and boom, that was it. He was out.
Hey, man, made it.
He made it. I mean, if you're going to go out with the bang, and that was the bangingest bang that I ever saw.
I think we're going to try to get maybe Joe Mack on the phone or something soon.
We definitely need to. I can tell you, for me, I don't
want to say the wrong thing.
I had been led to believe that he was already gone, that he was not in the Commonwealth.
I was
So,
led to believe that as
I
well.
was left literally slap-jawed with my mouth just kind of hanging open.
And it's been a
They
question.
fully got me.
It's been a question on people's lips. If the past times that we've been to the arena, you hear people say, where's Joe Mack at? We haven't seen Joe Mack in a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it really was quite the reveal here when Joe Mack came out.
And
Very well done.
It was
Very well
a
done.
very bittersweet send-off, too, because as much as we've talked smack about him over the last 6 months since we've been doing this, and as much as they've gone and done dastardly heel things in the ring.
Yeah, we've never
when
seen him be a baby face.
No, but that was about as face as you could get.
It was
And
great.
one of the things
In sentiment, at least. He did cheat. He did cheat to win.
He did cheat to help his team
Yeah.
win, yes.
Well,
but I was
there's
happy to
that.
get to talk to him at the Capitol. He was there the day that Ohio OVW Day was declared in Kentucky. And if you go back and watch that reel, I'm talking to him, and at the end he even says, "No sack Mac," and gives you a thumbs up, which just shows you how much, at the point I was like, we boo at you guys right now, but we need that, and thank you for that. And I believe I actually said something like, "The belt looks good on you," and he was like, "Joe Mack, no sack Mac, thumbs up." And so we never got the chance. We haven't gotten a chance to speak with him yet, but by all accounts, seems like a good kid.
Yeah, so everybody seems to think so. All right, main event.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, 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 ding.
Double Jeopardy match here. I guess I should choke up on the microphone and use some of my
This
microphone
is possibly one of the strangest matches I think I've ever seen in terms of having titles on the line. I mean, everybody in here is a heavyweight. Everybody here is a main eventer. Just pairing these two against these two, and if either one of these two guys beat one of those other two guys, then they get that title, but nothing else really changes for anybody else. But I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah,
And I mean, don't get me wrong, this isn't a complaint. I'm not saying that I hated it. I'm not saying anything bad about it. It's just very unusual to me.
It's an unusual. It was an unusual stipulation, and it was kind of a bizarre match in places as well.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a tag team match. I mean, it sort of was.
There were 4 men in the ring, 2 men across from 2 other men, but were either one of them teams? No.
I mean,
did
look
they
at the
act
way
like
I put it in
teams?
the notes.
No.
Tony and Luke, build toward an uneasy alliance, as the match goes on. But it seems like the alliance between Jack Vaughn and EC3 kind of.
There never was one.
Yeah, they had their dick measuring contest there for about 10 minutes in the middle of the match.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily a tag team. A dick measuring does not necessarily a tag team make, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
but
they were.
I
sword
like.
fight.
I appreciate their end of it because neither one of them wanted to be in the ring.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
he'd get tagged in, and then he'd be in for a minute, and he's like, "Yep, I'm out."
For heel shenanigans, there's definitely not a lack of heel shenanigans here.
Yeah.
Like there was as many shenanigans as humanly possible. But I did kind of.
It's a shenana knocker.
It kind of, on one side of the ring, you have Tony Gunn and Luke Curtis taking this like very, very, very seriously, and then you have like EC3 and Jack Vaughn that are kind of, I don't know.
They're basically just, I don't want to get beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other 2 guys are like, I want to be in the ring as much as possible. I don't care if it's Jack Vaughn. I don't care if it's EC3. I don't care to be in the ring. But the vibe on the other side was like, not it.
They definitely wanted their guys, though. Tony Gunn definitely wanted Jack Vaughn.
Yeah.
Luke Curtis definitely wanted EC3.
Sure.
We have, back and forth uneasy alliance between Tony Gunn and Luke Curtis. The dick measuring contest where Jack Vaughn and EC3 perform the same move on Tony Gunn. Or they do back and forth, right? They do, oh, well, you do this, I could do this. It's kind of silly. Here's my
Ye oldie pissing contest.
Yeah, it was. I maybe didn't need that part of it. I maybe would have kept this match a little more lean.
I don't know, man. I appreciate that as a contrast to what we were seeing on the other side of the ring.
Yeah, I can see in that way it worked.
In that way it worked. But generally, not all the time.
I do have a couple of questions here. I guess we can say Daniel Spencer gets knocked out. He's out. The ending is Luke Curtis drags Tony Gunn onto Jack Vaughn and wakes up Daniel Spencer. And
does he actually put him on it? I thought that he woke up Tony Gunn, but then he himself got hit with something and knocked out.
I'm scrolling through to the very end so we can see
this
what
does
happens.
go on and is weird.
Yeah. I mean, it was a 3 hour and 45-minute pay-per-view if you were to go back and watch it on YouTube or wherever you get your pay-per-views for the OVWs.
I thought that it was nice to make Luke look, kind of like this, just like very earnest baby face. Like he cares more about this opportunity for Tony maybe than, his opportunity to EC3, or he's confident that he'll get another shot at EC3 or what have you. I did think that it was strange, though, to have him be the only person on the poster and not have him win.
Well, okay, that's a thing.
The poster of the pay-per-view was literally just Luke Curtis. It might as well have been called Certified the Pay-Per-View.
Yeah. The certified pay-per-view.
So I thought that was strange. We get this great shot of Luke looking at the belt. We get this great visual of Luke holding the belt, but we don't get his hand raised at the end of the night.
No, the masked men come in at the very, very end of this and stomp a mud hole in everybody.
Except for EC3.
Except for EC3.
It's kind of unclear, from my point of view at least, whether or not EC3 was smart enough to get out of the way of the masked men, or if they intentionally did not attack him.
I think they intentionally did not attack him because they were sent by him.
I think that they did a good job of keeping it ambiguous.
And if that is the case, I wonder if these are some of his cronies from the NWA. You know who it is? I figured it out. It's the rest of the Smashing Pumpkins.
It's the rest of the Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
The original lineup.
The original lineup.
Yep.
Time is never time.
No.
Is that a Smashing Pumpkins song?
It was supposed to be.
Nah, maybe not. Can I tell you my favorite part of this?
I do think, in all honesty, though, I'm not convinced that EC3, that the masked men are working for EC3. I'm just not convinced.
Well, what else? Who else could it be? Because they came in during an Overman match where EC3 was there.
But then what did they? Why do they care about Barroom Brawl?
Why do they care about Cal Hero and Superior Tony Evans?
Exactly.
This feels like an invasion.
That's why I don't think. That's why I don't think it's EC3.
This feels like an invasion to me. And remember which other title EC3 carries.
No, I think it's just going to be some OVW guys. I'm just not convinced that it has anything to do with EC3. I think that it's been left. I think it's been suggested, but I think it's been ultimately left pretty ambiguous. And I think that we're in for kind of a bigger surprise.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there is bigger prickery afoot.
Dustin Jackson.
Nah.
Yeah.
Think?
At least one of them.
I don't know.
At least one of them.
Can I tell you my favorite spot from this particular match?
Well, he can only be one of them.
Yeah, he can't be both. No, there was 4 of them.
Yeah, now at this point, we don't really know how many of them there are, because now there's these other guys with different sets of masks and.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But my favorite part was when EC3 kind of standing by Jack Vaughn in the ring, slaps him on the chest and goes, "Jack, get the titles."
Oh yeah, good.
Shades of Dudley Boys.
Good Devon and
yeah.
Bubba Ray reference there. Yeah, I did
love
appreciate
a classic
that.
reference.
I did appreciate that. So Tony Gunn ends up getting the victory here. He's the new OVW Heavyweight Champion. EC3 retains the national championship that was potentially up for grabs here. I guess that means we're going to see more EC3 in OVW. I thought that maybe if Luke won against EC3 here, I kind of thought that they would do a double pin.
That's kind of what I was going for. And then they would have to maybe fight to see which one of them would actually get the title.
No, you give it to both of them. Give it to both of them. You end the pay-per-view on a high note. That's what I would have done. Give it to both of them, end the pay-per-view on a high note. But I guess I kind of thought that this was going to be, okay, EC3 has lost it. Maybe we don't see him for a few weeks. I guess Enzo is somewhat still floating around out here in kayfabe land. I don't know if we'll ever see him again. He's notoriously hard to work with, so I don't know. I have no idea what happened there. I don't know if he was just there for how long he was there. I don't know if he's coming back. I don't know. I don't know anything. Anytime he shows up anywhere, you start to question how long he's going to be there. That's just kind of his history. And people change, but that's his history. You want to take us out?
Sure. And as a final note on the way out here, congratulations to Tony Gunn on his OVW Heavyweight Championship win.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, and new.
And new OVW Heavyweight Champ. The OVW Podcast, the 10th Annual Carney Award-nominated unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling, is produced by Black Light Moon Productions at Nut House Studios in Lexington, Kentucky. The OVW Podcast team is my partner Jackman Ochs and myself, Brian Hines. Our studio engineer and editor is Malachi P.S. Woodard. Executive producer is Tyni Brian K. Woodard. Senior producer for the BLMP is Victor Anderson. After watching wrestlers on Netflix, visit ovwpodcast.com/podcasters to find all episodes of our unofficial Wrestlers After Show. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, rate us 5 stars, and give us a review. You can also follow us at OVW Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, and all the way to Davis Arena.
Love you guys.
Wherever you go, there you are.